Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode today here on the Growing Green podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and I'm super excited to come to you today with another fresh new guest interview for your Wednesday. Hope you're doing well and having a good week out there. We were just chatting with my guests here about how hot it's getting. It's getting miserable outside. The summer heat is upon us, but you can fight through it. You can do it. Stay strong. Make sure you're hydrating, staying, keeping water on the trucks and everything like that, keeping your guys, making sure that you are caring for them because your team is the one building your organization. And we're going to talk some more about that today, how you can get your team involved and go on a special trip this fall. We have none other than Kris Kiser with us here today. He is the president and CEO of OPEI, Equip Expo, and the Turf Mutt Foundation. Kris, how you doing today, man?
Morning. Good to be with you.
Thank you. Did I get it right? Did I get all of them in there?
Yeah, it's a mouthful, but yeah.
Good. I'm proud of myself then. I'll give myself a pat on the back because I did not have any notes written down. I said, hey, I'm going to get these right on the first take. And so I appreciate it, Kris. I appreciate your time this morning. We're gonna hop into what the Equip Expo is. What are we doing here at the Equip? What is it? How is the show turned around? We have a whole plethora of things I think we can talk about because, guys, if you've been listening to the show for any length of time, you know how Equip has changed and grown over the last couple of years, made a big transition from GIE to Equip in the last 2 years, I think it was. And so it's been a great trip for me. I'm a newcomer in the grand scheme of things. I've only gone to the show 3 times now, and so it's getting better and better every year. I went to the last GIE and then 2 Equips now. And so, Kris, take it away, man. I want to hear a little bit about what the Equip is for someone who has never gone before. Let's talk to them first because that's the newcomer in the industry. That's the guys that are starting their business. They're in year 1, year 2, trying to get off the ground. And what does Equip Expo offer for them? Why should they invest $1,000, $1,500 in plane tickets, hotel rooms, food to go to Louisville and hang out with all these great guests and vendors that you have at Equip Expo?
You know, it's a big, as you well know, it's a big show. And so part of that is understanding the opportunities at the show. If you're going to come to a show this size, one of the largest in the country, it's more than 1 million square feet, is to plan for it. So it's an equipment show. It's like a trade show. There's a lot of equipment, hundreds of thousands of square feet of all the power equipment. But there's a lot of education offerings, a lot of peer-to-peer opportunities to meet with and engage with one another, learn from one another. There's a lot of social stuff so that you can do that in a fun environment. But it's the equipment show. The unique thing about our show is we have 30 acres outside where you can test before you invest. You can actually drive the equipment, dig, cut, trench, you name it. The manufacturers let you get on the equipment and understand it best. So if you're a landscaper, dealer, distributor, hardscaper, we co-locate with Hardscape North America. And now what we've really done is get into all those ancillary businesses where landscape contractors are doing, irrigation, outdoor lighting, tree care, pool and spa. And this year, for the first time, we have applicator training. So we actually have states that are accepting our chemical pesticide application training. I think we've got Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, and then we're reaching out to other states to accept those training certs. And you can do that at Expo. So lots and lots of education. We don't put it on. We partner with the people who do. Landscape management, the Irrigation Association, the Pool Spa Association, etc. So it's an education event, 3 days. It's a trade show where you can come and see some equipment, where you can test that equipment, and where you can go out and have a good time. We have a concert, an open reception, and folks like you, we get together at some big events with our influencers, podcasters. So it's a terrific place to be.
So there's one problem that I hear out of what you just told me, and it's a simple problem. There's not enough time to do everything. 3 days, you can't fit everything into 3 days. So
This is not a day show.
Absolutely
brother.
not.
You've said it before, and I appreciate it. The key to our show is planning. So if you're going to take the time and money to come to Louisville, come in on that Tuesday, do it all. Spend the time and plan. Remember, we're indoor, outdoor. You're going to, if it's raining, you're going to get wet if you go outside.
Yeah.
But watch the weather. Bring a coat. Bring multiple. Bring a couple pair of shoes. It's a million plus. I think we're 1.3 million square feet. It's just a big, big venue, and so you're going to spend some time on your feet. But plan for that. Go to the website. Look at the education offerings, and plan the attack. How are you going to hit that show floor?
Yeah, proper planning is the key to this trip for sure. Like I was luckily blessed to have people in my life before I went to the first one. They were like, "Hey, do this, do that. Don't go here, don't go there. Don't park here. Don't stay at this hotel." So planning is huge. I think we'll move to some of those logistics here in a minute because we do need to talk about that hotel space, how that stuff fills up so fast. Because it is such a large show in a Louisville's not a small city, but the amount of people that are coming into that city for a week is an insane amount of people. So back to the actual show though, the day-to-day of the show, I think that what you hit on, that you literally have to almost gloss over everything. We would be here for 3 hours if we dove into everything that is offered there. There's no way to actually dive into it. But for the up-and-comer, those new guys, I think the education is huge. How are you – let's hit on the education a little bit because, I love trade shows just as much as anybody. But at the end of the day, and you know this as well, I want you to go to trade shows to see the equipment, to get to network with new vendors and see how that can help your business grow. But at the end of the day, you got to have the education to actually run your business. And then the equipment comes in and helps you do that. So how are you guys, aside from the applicators, like what are some other things that you're offering? I know that you've done tree in the past, some irrigation stuff. What are the education offerings that you're also offering aside from the pesticide stuff, the applications?
Oh gosh, I don't have it in front of me. There's 30 plus classes just from landscape management.
Wow.
Again, classes I know are being put on by Pool and Spa, and it's designed for the landscape contractor who are sort of nosing into these business opportunities. So it's Pool and Spa, tree care, outdoor lighting, and that's trenching, right? And so the folks that are putting down irrigation lines or outdoor lighting lines, the Irrigation Association has a number of classes and some training. Best place to see all that is go to our website because there's just a bunch of class offerings, and it'll tell you the times and place. And so you can build out your own schedule. We've done everything we can to try to improve the inbound, outbounds, where we have free parking and get through the gate. Remember, this is not a public show. This is a business-to-business show. And so we try to make it as easy as we can to get in and out. But I know we'll probably talk about that. Yeah. But since you mentioned it earlier, we're what's called a citywide. And so we stretch the city. And so if you want the hotel you want, or if do it now. I mean, you can always change that reservation, but get a hotel reservation now. Do you want to be downtown? Do you want to be by the venue? Do you want to be on the east side? Louisville's a city of neighborhoods. It's a really old town, a lot of good food here, a lot of good places to have a bourbon or beer. But get that now. Find those reservations now. Find those hotel rooms now. And if you're flying into, it's got a real airport, but those things book up, and as they book up, they get more expensive. So get that plane ticket now. This is just not an event. Now, we have a lot of folks who drive in, but that becomes very challenging. So we don't want you to have, if it's your first time, we want you to have a good experience, but that means plan for it.
1,000,000%. And we can go there now because there's no lack of importance of that. You talk about driving into the show. The parking is huge. That is something that I can't say thank you to you and the Equip staff enough. That flow that changes about not having to pay for parking, not having to go through attendance booths and things. And I know that's not free. You guys foot that bill.
$70,000.
Yeah,
$70,000.
There you go. So,
but when you just said it changed the experience.
Yeah.
That used to be horrible.
Oh, I believe it because I never even attended, Chris. I never even attended before it was free parking, and so that's all I've ever known. And just usually coming in the mornings is pretty good. When the show shuts down and everybody leaves at the end of the day, I can't imagine having to go through booths and stuff, getting out little single lanes and stuff, coming in the morning. Because if it was that if it was that bad in the afternoon leaving, then I can't imagine coming in the morning. But yeah, that is something that I am super appreciative to you guys for. And then go to the hotels. Like if you've never been before, Kris is saying stay near the expo, stay downtown. You stay some people stay across the bridge. And is that Indiana? I believe, is that what borders?
Yep.
And so a lot of people do that and say, hey, let me get a little cheaper hotel and stay across the river, because some people do that and you can get a better rate sometimes there. But you got a little bit more of a drive. You got to worry about getting in and out. And so a lot of after event happenings going on. A lot of vendors put on special events, private events that you can be invited to if you are one of their preferred partners and a customer of theirs. But it is such a fun time getting to network. And Kris, let's talk about networking a little bit, because I think networking is something that has grown my company to a new level that I would have never been able to maintain on my own. And how have you taken networking and grown your network to help expand GIE into Equip Expo, and now with OPEI and everything that you're doing there? How have you grown your network, and what advice can you give to guys looking to grow their network and their business?
Yeah, I talk to people like you. And so the staff talks to people like this. Enterprise is year-round, right? We have a year-round staff. We're downtown Louisville, Kentucky. So when OPEI took full ownership of the show a few years ago and brought the management of that show in-house, I said, we want to talk to landscape contractors. We want to talk to people in the business. We want to understand their concerns and needs. And what do they need? And what kind of training is it? Is it like you said it earlier? It's you can come and see the equipment, but if you don't understand the software that runs it, or if you don't understand the opportunities or the tax consequences, that's where the learning is. And that's what we want to put on. So we just took it. We now formally survey a lot of folks. We talk to a lot of folks. What are the opportunities and challenges? And we ask our vendors to put those kinds of sessions on. And we have heard over and over that getting together with like persons, right? Others who are similarly situated, how did you survive COVID? How did you do this? What's the latest tax consequence? How does it affect your business? How do you keep people year round, et cetera? Those conversations are had in a social setting, or can be.
Yeah.
And so, we have a big concert event. That's one of the reasons you stay downtown. There's a big concert at Yumson Arena, Trace Atkins this year. We have an opening reception at Churchill Downs. But those are opportunities for y'all to get together. We have a happy hour now at Freedom Hall at the venues. You don't have to leave. So, manufacturers, exhibitors have a happy hour 3 to 5 on that Wednesday. So starting at 5 is we just extend that happy hour into Freedom Hall, and we have the Crashers play on the Freedom Hall stage. So we're putting together all those opportunities for you all to mix with one another. So same thing with the, Energize or the morning show is Podcast Row now in the West Wing, where these attendees can talk to folks like you, professionals in your space, how you've made it, how you succeed, et cetera. Is find those times and places that we make available. So go find folks like you. Go find these influencers who know that side of the business to help it grow. I'm an old man. I've been there. This is my 19th year. Remember, Expo's 41 years young, so it's doing something right.
Yeah.
I meet people now that I met when they bought, they had a zero turn and walk behind the pickup truck. Now they're a $10 million enterprise. So, and they come back year over year over year over year. And there's a successful formula, right? And so the other thing is when you come, we have 1,000 exhibits. All the manufacturers and love are there, and their parts and suppliers, again, the software suppliers and the robotic stuff they're there to answer your questions. So oftentimes you go to the Toro booth, the CEO is going to be in there, the top sales and marketing guy, but the people who design the equipment, people who repair the equipment, the people who put together, knows the safety apparatus. We're an SDO, Standards Development Organization, who put together the safety standards. Why is this here? Why is that there? They'll answer your questions. That's the great thing about this show. It is a true industry show, and all those people are on site to answer your questions.
That's something that really is not talked about enough. A huge value of the show is the access to people that you get that you would never, ever get any other time. Like, I promise, true. Kris just glazed over. Like, you go to the Toro booth, there's a chance you'll see the CEO of Toro in there. That is not a lie. Like, I have seen those people in there. Like, Ed Wright is frequently walking around Wright's booth, and it's like, you don't get access. You don't get time on these people's calendar any other time of the year. Like, they are busy, they are booked, they are making and growing their companies. Like, that's where they're at in the level of their companies. And you can go in there just like I can and talk to anyone in there that you see on that showroom floor, and they're always like, everyone is so open and ready to talk, ready to answer your questions. And this is the value in it is like, yeah, you can go to your local dealer and ask some questions, yes, but you're talking to the people, like Kris said, the safety people, the people that made this equipment, not just they're selling it now out of their dealership, but they're the ones that are backing it. It's their warranty, it's their safety, it's their innovation, and you can talk to them. If you have ideas, you can bring that to them. We have done some stuff with John Deere in their booth, and their booth is one of the biggest in there, and it's like they have staff all over the place at all times with any questions you need. You can find somebody that has an answer just about. And so that is one of the perks of the show is the access that you get to people, which is a great thing. And so one of the things that I love about it as well, the indoor outdoor space. Let's talk about the outdoor space a little bit. The try before you buy type thing. What did you say? Test. You said something earlier. You said test before what?
Test before you invest.
Test before you invest. I like that. That's good. It's an experience like no other. The fact that you can go get on just about any piece of equipment that's inside, you can go outside and find it. How is that? What kind of challenges? I mean, if you don't mind sharing, have you had some? Have there been some challenges with? Do you have to reseed all that? Because y'all make a mess out there every year. So
we destroy it.
Okay. You destroy it every year. Like it's a muddy mess.
Yeah, every year it gets rebuilt. So we rebuild it. We have a number of areas that we can dig to 16 feet. So we actually dig really, big trenches. We have all, there's some heavy moving stuff out there. So there's some backhoes and some, skid steers and some trenchers. So we tear it up and we put it all back together. Look, it's pretty and the grass is nice, the day before the show, and then it's gone. But that's what our folks do. And so we're crazy happy about that. One quick story, your last conversation. My dog comes, my dog is Turf Mutt. My dog is at the show. And so she and I were in the Aaron's booth. And I remember talking to somebody. Aaron's is a privately held company. And he was talking to somebody right there beside me. And he said something about, well, why is this, and why is that? He was, not happy. And I said, well, there's Dan Aarons, Steve Aarons, and Nick Aarons right there. So I said, which one you want? There's the owner, the sales and marketing. And I mean it, because remember, we have a board of directors meeting. All 14 of my CEOs are, and it's at Expo. So they go down to the show floor, and you mentioned it, is there on the floor. And so their executive management's on the floor, their salesmen are on the floor. But more importantly, I remember a discharge thing. Why is that? Why did y'all move such and such? And he looked over and he said, well, there's the guy that put it, there's the safety engineer who's our lead at the such and such standards committee, mower standards committee, and that's global, right? The ISO ANSI standard.
Yeah.
He'll tell you why we did that globally, and that there they have that conversation. So you talk about the outdoors. Remember, you're outside. This is real world. So if it's raining, it's going to be wet. If it's hot, it's going to be dry and dusty. It's a real world experience. So just know that. Again, comfortable shoes, dress appropriately. Get online, look at the weather. It's pretty accurate nowadays. Tells you what you're going to endure when you're here. It's October. It's usually pretty nice, but it can fluctuate.
Yeah, it can. And I tell you, I don't know. Mud is bad, but the dust out there, I'm telling you, you better be prepared. And it's not a bad thing as long as you are prepared. As long as you don't go out there in brand new $300 On Clouds or whatever your brand of shoe is. Like you don't want to.
It ain't the place for new shoes.
Exactly. You bring you some nice, comfortable ones to walk around the floor in, but you better put on your work boots or whatever you want to walk outside, because it is not for the faint of heart out there. And it's just guys getting to work. I mean, you're getting to test equipment that are going to make your company hundreds of thousands of dollars down the road. Like that's the thing that's the value in it that I see. You get on stuff and it's innovative, it's new, it's cool. Everybody at the end of the day loves some shiny equipment. Like that's all dudes love that. And so it's just a good time to get around other like-minded business owners that are trying to grow, trying to invest in their company, trying to add to their fleet and everything like that. So I think the rebuilding, do you know anything about the rebuilding process? Like, because guys like that, like we're talking to contractors here, that's what they love. They're sitting here, when people walk outside, they're saying, my gosh, how do we rebuild this? Like, what is their infrastructure? What do they do to do this? Do you have any insight into that you can share?
Well, sure. I mean, you got to level it out. You put in some medium, some, topsoil, get it cleaned up. There is a rolling. There's we can't have an in-ground irrigation, we tear it up. But there's some irrigation, but we have a big rolling surface thing out there.
Yeah.
But it's we power seed. We put it down. We protect it as best we can. But you see, other people use that space as well.
Yeah.
And so it's a year-round enterprise. It's a year-round joint venture with them. We work with them, but they have a huge, maintenance folks. What is it called? The Hot Rod Association. They park their cars out there on that grass.
Oh, really?
It's way cooler. They're earlier in the summer, and if you put them on asphalt, you can bake your attendees.
Yeah.
So they like to put them on grass. That tears it up. The concerts, they use it, as people inbound, outbound, out of the concert, standing wimmer. So, that's a working field. Now, we get it several weeks in advance, I think 8 weeks. And then we work on it hard. We work on it. We water the living heck out of it, seed it to try to get grass up on most of it. And we're pretty successful. And again, it just, as you just said, it depends on the weather. Now, we put water down. We work hard. And remember, we paved the paths. The paths, you weren't there. We've had some tough years. If you get a lot of weather, the pathways were wet, but we've now paved those. We have roads out there. So just walking around the outdoors is a much better experience.
Yeah.
Obviously the booths are dirt, or grass, but the roadways where the traffic is out there, lots of paths, those are all paved.
When was that done?
I'm like 5 years ago.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we worked with the Kentucky. We're a long time client of the Kentucky Exposition Center.
Yeah.
And so we worked with them on it, and we have a very good relationship. Again, we're an annual show. They get a lot of big shows, but they're maybe every 2 years, every 3 years. We're an annual show. We're every single year, so we're a big client, and we're usually the third or fourth largest in the country by size. So a big show. The thing about Louisville, again, it's a city of towns and neighborhoods. Butchertown, Germantown, Jeffersontown. So figure out kind of what you like, the experience you want. There's the hip, trendy neighborhoods. There's the neighborhoods with the food. There's the neighborhoods that are close in. There's downtown near the concert. But to try to understand that, we put out a magazine. If you want to get our magazine, make sure you get your contact information. You could load that at our website. Get you the magazine. We oftentimes talk about those neighborhoods. Because we're here, we're not going anywhere. Louisville's the only venue of its kind that has those 30 acres outside that they let us tear up. So it's the only venue of its kind. And it's the right size for us. But we're challenged. We fill up this town. So again, I'm beating a dead horse here. Get your hotel reservation now, because people have been coming to the show for 40 years. They know to do that,
and new people are coming every year. That's that's the thing, and he's not lying, guys. Like I there's a lot of times people hype stuff up, get it before it sells out, just to make a sale. This is not that. This is not that at all. Like, hotel rooms go fast, and you might find one at the end, but you're going to stay 15, 20, 30 minutes away from the show.
Well, we did 27,000 attendees last year. It's our biggest show ever.
Yeah.
You mentioned it. When we took over the show, we've grown it significantly. This year, I'm going to reveal it today, right now. We've already reached the benchmark. It'll be the largest show ever in our 41 years. We've the largest exhibitor sales number that we've ever had.
Wow.
We've sold out of the North Wing. We've sold out the East Hall, sold out the South Wing. And we're getting ready to sell out the footprint. We submit a footprint to the KEC for the fire marshal. We're about ready to sell out the West Wing, which we took last year.
Yeah.
So we're going to sell out the facility. So it'll be the biggest show ever. We won't have a good handle on attendees until after Labor Day.
That's awesome. That's so cool to hear. And I'm glad we almost missed that. And I want to talk about the West Wing a little bit, because, that's newer. I didn't even know that was a thing last year. That was I found out like the last second day or two. And so I think a lot of people don't even know that exists because it was so new and so fresh. But there's some really cool stuff going on down there. I mean, what's involved with that West Wing? Do you know any of the details in that?
Sure. So last year we sold out our traditional footprint. And so we kind of put that out, and we had an awful lot of folks in line, an awful lot of folks that wanted to exhibit. And they pushed and pushed and pushed. And so we said, all right, we'll incorporate the West Wing, which is an additional hall. It's the oldest hall, and it's at the furthest But and we got some people in there, and they had we hadn't committed for the entire hall, and so their experience early, because that hall opens early. And remember, we have a transportation system, we have a shuttle system, so you don't have to drive here. You can fly here, and we have a big shuttle system that works for the hotels here in Louisville that can get you to and from. And most of the big events, to and from the concert, to and from Churchill Downs for open reception, again, on our shuttle route. So, again, you can find all that on the website. But, yeah, the West Wing, this year, we're almost sold out. So a lot of new exhibitors in there. We've created a garden center this year. I go to garden centers all the time and nurseries. I always see landscaper trucks. So I'm like, I want a garden center. So I bought a greenhouse. So we're going to create a garden center. I think we're going to have a pool in there. A lot of exhibitors. We can create a park. The shuttles will now drop at the west end of the West Wing. So you'll traverse the West Wing if you're on a shuttle. Lots of stuff going on the West Wing now. We're going to utilize a lot of those rooms for education. So we're going to further incorporate it into the footprint. It just makes the show bigger physically. And as you well know, it's a big show.
So what I'm hearing is pretty much for 3 days or that whole week, the Kentucky Exposition Center belongs to the OPEI and every landscaper in America that wants to come see just about anything they can get their hands on.
Yeah, and when I first started coming 18 years ago, we were using bits and pieces of the South Wing and bits and pieces of the North Wing. I think there was a rabbit show or a pigeon show.
That's hilarious.
In the West Wing, it's a livestock venue as well. And there's a lot of other stuff going on, but you just said it. We own it. So the entirety of the KEC is ours. Everybody in the parking lot is ours. And that's the one thing about being in Louisville, because you mentioned it. It's not a great big city. It's big enough to handle us. We put on the Derby. PGA. Yeah. But if you're in town and you get into a hotel elevator, whoever's on that elevator is there for a clip.
1,000,000%. That happens every single year.
And so if you're in a restaurant or a bar and you bump into somebody, I'm so-and-so, I'm from Iowa, I'm from Idaho, I'm from Montana, you're going to talk to equip people no matter where you are.
Yep.
Restaurants, bars, hotels, and which is nice because that I call it a family reunion. For me, again, 18 years, I see a lot of the same folks. I get new folks every year. It's a family reunion for me.
Yeah. No, I love it. That's what our show is about. Our show is about growing a community one relationship at a time. And these are the kind of events that we've preached about and talk about all the time, that this is how you grow a community. This is how you grow your life, your business, because you network with like-minded people who are trying to grow and attending these events, and you get to meet some amazing, amazing people along the way. I don't want to hold you too long. We're coming up on our time here, but let's transition over to H&A a little bit, because we have some guys that breaking into hardscaping, want to see more, hear more about that. That's a whole nother division of the show that, again, if you come for mowers and excavators, you could potentially miss H&A. You might not even go over to that side of the show because this place is so big. So tell me a little bit about how did that H&A combo come together? How did y'all merge and host the show at the same time? And then even talk about their outdoor space, because I know they put on some competitions and things as well.
They had it's a much smaller show, about 2,000 people, but it's Hardscape North America. It's an annual show. For those in the hardscape business, they have competitions. They have fantastic booths. It's Bellegarde, and the outdoor kitchens and beautiful outdoor patios. They bring all that stuff, and it's heavy because that affects our drage numbers. But it's crazy. They're in the North Wing principally. They've actually grown and grown and grown. They're now also sharing the West Wing with us. So they're a co-location show. They're an independent show, Hardscape North America, independent registration, independent business. But if you're an attendee at either show, you can go to all of our stuff. You can go to the keynote. It's Kevin O'Connor, host of This Old House. You can go to all the classes. You can go to the Churchill Downs. You can go to the concert. It's a shared experience. But yes, if you're in the hardscape business, their show is sitting right next to ours in the North Wing. So you can go over there, look at all the new hardscape offerings. And again, all they're related. So over there at Hardscape is outdoor lighting and the Christmas tree stuff and the trenching stuff. There's all kinds of stuff there. It's all about the outdoors. So they've got those outdoor kitchens and pizza ovens and all that business. And they have the installer championships at Hardscape House, which is also outdoors, just adjacent to the North Wing. So it's two shows for the price of one.
Yeah, man, I love it. If you're trying to get into both, it's definitely a great value, and you can attend the show for not much money at all. We'll talk about that in just here in a minute before we wrap up. But Kris, tell me about the as we wrap up here. What is the Turf Mutt Foundation? Talk to me a little bit about that. The Mulligan's 5K, is that going to happen again this year? And just
you bet.
Tell everybody how they can get signed up and look into that stuff.
You bet. The Turf Mutt Foundation is the education arm of OPEI, which is the Trade Association for Equipment Makers. It owns Equip Exposition. It's the education arm. We've reached 70 million kids, teachers, and families, teaching kids to be stewards of the outdoors. Remember, nature starts at your back door. And it's told from a dog's point of view. Nobody knows your yard like your dog. And so we created Turf Mutt 15 years ago. This is our anniversary. We've reached 70 million kids, partners with Discovery, Animal Planet, Scholastic, Weekly Reader, and we're now in the United States Green Building Council Global Learning Lab. That was a mouthful.
Wow, that was impressive.
So from a dog's point of view, as a superhero, bad guys, Carbon Freak, Dust Demon, Heat Freak, those bad guys. And so it's made it very, very sticky for kids. And there's a real dog behind the character. There's a real dog. And on TV. So we've had several seasons now on Lucky Dog on CBS Saturday mornings, Education Information Block. And real dogs, and so they're rescues, and so now we partner with the Kentucky Humane Society. We have a Mulligan's Mutt Madness. We have a national dog adoption event at the show. Come get your new next best friend at the show. We've got more than 60 dogs adopted so far, and this year OPI is being named, again, I'm going to let something out of the bag, the Kentucky Humane Society's Humane Hero Award winner this year for all we do. And so Mulligan's Mutt Madness, a good health and wellness effort. It's a fitness, 5K for old farts like me, pardon the expression, and so I walk it. But it's down on the river. It's a really pretty place. You can walk across the Ohio River on the Big Four Bridge. But the Mulligan's Fun Run and 5K, yes, again this year, Wednesday morning.
I love it, man. Well, I tell you what, one final question here before we wrap up. Aside from Equip Expo, let's go into Kris Kiser's life here and your growth journey along the way of your development and leadership and becoming the CEO and the president of these organizations. What is some advice you can give to some young entrepreneurs out there who are trying to grow their net worth, grow their community, grow their families, and just overall grow their life? Like, is there one thing, one principle, or anything that you would say and advice you would give to somebody who's just young and looking to grow?
Just follow your gut, right? A lot of folks will tell you can't do this and you can't do that. And, don't care about what people think. Follow your gut, right? No idea is a bad idea. And listen, I'm from a small town in southern Indiana. I lucked out. I ended up out in Washington, D.C. for 35 years, worked with politicians and trade groups. Now I'm back. I moved to Louisville, Kentucky. Couldn't be happier. But listening, I was a terrible listener for a long, long time. And so one of the best advice I got in law school was just, right at the top of your paper, stop talking. Just stop talking. Start listening. And listen. Listen to your peers. Listen to your elders. Listen to others in the business. And that's when you learn. Oftentimes, you wait just to talk. I'll wait till my turn to talk. Is actually listen. And so that, and follow your gut's telling you what to do. But you got to learn. But listen, listen. That's my number one thing that I learned. But I learned it late in life.
The best way to learn is to listen. I like it. That's a great way to wrap the show up, Kris. I appreciate your time this morning. Guys, if you are interested in the show, he just told you it's the biggest show that's ever come through the Exposition Center for the Equip side. Probably, Kris, would you say it's the biggest show to ever come through the Exposition Center, period? No matter, out of any shows?
It was technically like the farm show or some of the livestock stuff.
Okay.
Might be physically bigger. But we're in the top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I think we may be number 1 annually. The utility show, because they take all that asphalt. They take all the parking lots. They may be bigger, but they're every other year.
Yeah.
And so we're probably right in line. I think one of the farm show, the farm machinery show, the livestock piece, they may actually take more square feet, but we're in the top 3.
I love it. Hey, it doesn't matter whether you're the biggest or not. This is a show that you don't want to miss. At the end of the day, it's a show you don't want to miss. And so you can get registered at equipexpo.com, and you can go there and just get your tickets. Now is the early bird sale. It's still $15 right now if you use code GG50 to register. That'll get you in the show for $15. That price will increase at the end of the show, and I promise you don't want to be paying that at the door price. So go get registered now. It'll help Kris and his team get his numbers accurate, like you said, right around Labor Day to get to know how they need to lay things out and stuff for the show, because it helps with numbers. So anybody that's ever hosted an event knows, please register ahead of time. Don't wait till the last day. It just always adds more chaos than necessary. So, Kris, if you don't have any final words or anything for us, I appreciate your time, buddy.
I appreciate yours, and thank you for helping us talk to your audience. That's the key.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the show today. It means the world. Share with your friends. Get them to come with you up here to the Quib. Come hang out with everybody. But that is going to wrap this one up. We'll catch you here on Friday for another one. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.